Hey guys, it's Lauren Ratcliffe. Today is March the 16th, 2025, and it's a beautiful but very windy day up here in eastern Kentucky. As most of you all know, I was diagnosed on the autism spectrum at a time when it was poorly understood. I was diagnosed with pervasive developmental disorder originally when I was 5 years old back in 1987. And in 1994, Asperger's syndrome was introduced into diagnostic criteria. And that's when I was given the diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome. Today, I want to talk about something that I feel like needs to be shared with people on the autism spectrum: feelings. I was in therapy religiously, like, for controlling my feelings from second grade all the way up through sixth grade of elementary school and the majority of middle school and high school. And one of the main things that my therapist has taught me was the importance of suppressing your feelings and trying to hide your feelings in order to make yourself look more presentable. And my parents always taught me the importance of being kind to everyone else, and that you have to try to be kind no matter how you feel. Well, for ASD people, I do think that's a good thing, but you've got to be honest about your feelings, and suppressing your feelings is not healthy. Unfortunately, I disagree with a lot of the things that I was taught in therapy about my feelings and of the idea of trying to be more neurotypical. I did what I could in order to control my emotions, but I had a really hard time with it, and the majority of the time it didn't always work. The ASD brain works different than that of a normal person, and for this reason, ASD people also develop different thought processes than normal people do. And if they admit any of those thought processes, then neurotypical people won't understand it, and they will just think that the autistic person is being unrealistic. So for that reason, over the years, I've had to suppress a lot of my feelings, because I was forced to. For example, I used to have unrealistic jealousy of my sister and my cousins, and nobody could figure that out. And they all just tried to help me to, like, just push myself to get over that, and to just be nice. I was jealous of one of my cousins horribly when I was little, because who was 10 years younger than me, because I perceived this person as being really smart, and going to go to college, and less likely to experience the typical adult stressors, like money problems, relationship problems, less likely to do drugs, more likely to get a good paying job. And I didn't perceive myself as being what other people would consider okay. I always saw myself in a black and white pattern. And I thought that other people would perceive me the way I perceive myself. And that was part of my autistic thinking. And every time that I mentioned that or would complain about that, then it would seem irrational to other people around me. It's like they could see the big picture and I couldn't. ASD people are very honest, and one symptom of high functioning autism, yes, it's sincere honesty and trouble masking their feelings. All of my life, I was always brutally honest about everything, and to the point where it would think it would make other people think that I was mean. And I always had trouble masking my feelings. I never I never pretended anything. And that was one of the reasons that I was always in counseling when I was younger, is because I was so open and honest about my feelings, and I could not control myself when I got upset. I just cry and cry and cry uncontrollably for a full day or even a week. Now, here's some other examples about issues with expressing your feelings and being brutally honest when the world considers it wrong when you're on the autism spectrum. Now, in my life, I've always gotten severely disappointed and could not control my feelings when I couldn't, for some reason, achieve what I wanted or couldn't get something that I wanted. And my mom would always be like, "No, you don't need to feel disappointed about that. You shouldn't feel disappointed about that." Well, I don't think it's wrong to have any feelings. And because I was taught that, I felt like it was wrong that I felt disappointed over that, and admitted that I was very disappointed and cried about it. But if other people feel the same way, then why is it wrong that I'm admitting my feelings and they're not? Number two, reacting upset when someone is playfully teasing me or when someone reacts unkind to me out of their personal stress. My parents always told me to suck it up, and to forgive the other person, and that, if they said something really hurtful to me out of their own stress, then my mom and dad would be like, "Oh, you just need to forgive them. They were having a bad day and they didn't mean anything, but it still hurt my feelings. And I feel like they should apologize." But, it's like, they're going through a hard time right now. Cut them some slack. And also, if I would react, unkind to someone that teased me in any way and tell them to shut up or whatever and that they're wrong, well, that is considered rude. Like, for example, one time my aunt was up at my grandma's house and I was there with her, and she just started playfully teasing me and I reacted really unkind. Um and um and then my mom found out about it, that it hurt my aunt's feelings, and she punished me about it. Um um, but the way I look at it is, you have your right to feel what you feel. But if you feel something, you should feel it. It's not anything wrong. And I feel like in situations like this, or any of these situations that you should explain how you feel. And I was always told to once again suck it up and to always say kind words to somebody else. But the autistic brain, like I said, it works different. Also, ASD people feel emotions differently and get upset over stuff that others find unrealistic. And 3, based on my experience, it's unhealthy, and holding in feelings is just makes me feel tired and just physically uncomfortable, and it eventually comes out no matter what. I've done this only a handful of times, and it never worked for me. And I honestly believe it's okay to cry when you're upset and to express your feelings and to be blatantly honest about it. Because we're all sinners, and I'm a Christian, and God knows what you're thinking. And I know that. And number 4, now for the parents and spouses, allow your child/loved one to explain their feelings when they're upset, and don't be judgmental about it, because what they feel is realistic to them, and it's important to provide a good listening ear and to be very supportive of them. Do not judge their feelings. Say something like, "I'm sorry that you feel this way. Would you like to talk about it? What can I do to help you?" But never force them into anything. And number 5, so some ways about being too honest that I disagree with, kind of. As Christians, the Bible says that lying is wrong and worrying what others think is not good. And this is a form of idolatry. Most people commit this form of idolatry and they don't realize it. So if you got an ASD child or a spouse that is brutally honest about everything, please appreciate it. Because not very many other people are going to be that truthful about anything. And they don't mean any harm by it when they're expressing their true, honest feelings. It's better to be their raw, honest self than worrying constantly about what others think when the other person is going to deal with it much better than the autistic person would. Thank you. Bye.